true desire in the heart for anything good is God's proof to you, sent beforehand to indicate that it's yours already. That itch that you have to be whatever it is you want to be, in front of the camera, on the stage, behind the stage, that itch, that desire for good is God's proof to you, sent already to indicate that it's yours. You already have it. Claim it. Understand this. You have these dreams, and as Kenny said, dreams without goals remain dreams, just dreams, and ultimately fuel disappointment. Dreams without goals, yearly goals, life goals, daily goals, monthly goals, hourly goals, minute by minute goals. Dreams without goals are just dreams. Goals on the road to achievement cannot be achieved without discipline and consistency. Between goals and achievement are discipline and consistency. Thank God for grace and mercy and understanding. We all fall short of the glory. We all got plenty. If you just start thinking of all the things you got to say thank you for, that's a day. And we all have that unique gift to go out and touch people, to affect people. Understand that gift, protect that gift, appreciate that gift, utilize that gift, don't abuse that gift, treasure it. You have it, you already have it. You'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. I'll say it again, you'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. Now, I've been blessed to make hundreds of millions of dollars in my life. So it's not how much you have, it's what you do with what you have. And we all have different gifts, but we all have it. Use it, share it. That's what counts.
During times when I am in the world, during times when I'm joyful, these are the travels of life. The traveler learns hate, joy, wait, but many things always come on his plate. The traveler walks on and then waits, but he is always told to keep moving on. These advices are sometimes good, but what should you think? What should you do? What should you believe? The goal for the traveler should be, what do you want in life? This is what is called the life of a traveler. The traveler has fun times with his friends justifying to fit in. The traveler learns from others and his mistakes. It may make him happy, it may make him sad, it may make him mad, but these are the trials that make a traveler.
The hypocritic Christian in the land of no religion, so easy to judge, but so hesitant to love. Always preaching perfection, but living with an infection. And the world sees this and rises up with cries, pointing their fingers towards the building and saying it's all full of lies. But the problem isn't the building, because the church is the people who are broken and find hope under a steeple. They're all hypocrites and they all lie. No, we're all imperfect, but we try. I've been that kid who only obeys God when it's convenient. I've made bad choices and said, God, I'm sorry, when I didn't really mean it. I've had doubting faith, asking God, why did you bring me to this place? I've questioned the world around me. I've tried to be the God of my own life, and that never seemed to crown me. But I know that God is my ruler, so I give him my life. And I know if I never wake, I'll be in heaven tonight. So I know I'm not perfect, but Jesus died for my sins when I certainly didn't deserve it. Every day I'm fighting, trying to conquer my own flesh. And every day I realize it needs to be God more and me less. Cause I'm getting weary of this fake smile, acting like everything's the best. I've tried to lay my head on my pillow, but only in him can I find rest. Cause each new battle brings some of the same old temptation. And I know I could always give in and say, oh, shame on you, Satan. But I'm not doing this on my own. God's with me when I'm all alone. He's there when I fail, and he doesn't define me on my past, and he lets my sins sail. away, 'cause Christ died then for my today. So if by hypocritic Christian you mean imperfect, then yes, I am him. But that's the reason I'm not the one I put my faith in.
For as long as I can remember, I've always had this void in my life. This empty feeling deep inside of me that you can't quite shake, no matter how hard you try. It sort of consumes and eats away at you. You have great happy moments, and just when you think things are fine, surprise, the feeling always comes back. It's just a matter of time. The constant frustration to fill this void, something to ease the pain. What's the cause? Nobody knows, yet you feel the sad emptiness every single day. It leaves you feeling so empty and down, like you're missing something somehow. Something that's a big part of me, and once I have it, I'll be happy. I just need that one thing, this missing key, and once I get my hands on it, I'll be complete. Because I've tried everything, friends, education, material stuff. No matter how hard I try, it never seems to be enough. It sucks. And I know people will tell me that I just need to think more positively, or the solution to all my problems is self-love. But it's not as simple as that. Not when you've got to the point where you just feel numb. I so badly want to fill my heart with so much happiness it takes all the sadness away. My childhood was so dark and angry that I always thought in my adult life, things would change. Somehow I would no longer feel the same, and I don't. Things aren't as intense anymore, but there's no denying that this feeling is always there, and it's something I can't explain. I just wish it would go away. I always thought that when I grow up, things would be different. I just thought that things would be different. You look at other people and they always seem so happy. You know, you observe people's lives, whether that be in person, social media, TV, and it always seems to come to them so naturally. And I know that stuff can be misleading, but when you feel so empty, you can't help but look and think, why can't that be me? Because you want that. You so desperately want that. And you feel like you're doing all the right things. You know, you're hanging out with friends, talking about it, dancing to silly music. And in the moment, you feel great. You're in a good, happy place. But sooner or later, that feeling goes away. And the emptiness kicks in again. Do I sound crazy? God, I feel like I sound so crazy. I tend to feel a lot late at night. That's when I write. Sometimes I'm so overwhelmed with emotion, I just cry. And I don't know why. It makes me feel like there's something wrong with me. And it's sad to admit, so it becomes easier to lie and pretend that everything's fine. So that's what I say. I say that I'm fine. Events from my past still affect my adult life. I lash out and get down out of nowhere, and I can't explain why. It just gets so messed up in my head sometimes. Because you can't escape it, not when it's all happening in your mind. So you beat yourself up, and you beat yourself up till you feel so small. Sometimes you can be in a room full of people and still feel so alone. I can put on an act and pretend to be tough. But deep down, I never quite feel brave enough. You can feel so small in this big, big world that I feel like all I have are my words to keep my sense of control. These poems, they're like my therapy, you know? A way to release and pour out my soul in hopes that it'll make me feel better and somehow fill this empty hole. One day I'll be able to look back at everything and it won't hurt so much anymore. I'll be able to look back at what happened and not feel so sore. Because there's no cure. There's no quick way to fix it. It's just something you learn to live with. But it'll get easier. Of that I'm sure. You are not the demons in your mind. You are not the hurt and pain
you feel on the inside. You're stronger than that. You can fight. Understand that it's all temporary and that these things take time. So chin up, breathe. Allow yourself to feel everything there is to feel. You're going to get through this. Give it some time, and you'll heal.
Because we just had an interview the other day, and you said something that I sort of has stuck with me about what makes you afraid. And we were talking about this, and Denzel said, I don't know if you remember saying this to me, but you said you attract what you fear.
Right.
And since we spoke, I've just been thinking about that all the time. What are you afraid of? And do you agree with that comment that you attract what you fear?
Apparently, I'm afraid of great actors. Well, I mean, positively and negative. I mean, you attract. Now, not just what you fear. You attract what you feel, what you are, what you attract. What's on your mind? Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
the law of physics. I don't know how anybody can disagree with that. It's just ask any physicist; they'll tell you that it's true.
Allow me to introduce myself. As some of you may already know me, I don't mean to be rude or intrusive, I just thought it would be fair to give you a warning. We may already be best friends, or you may hardly even know I exist. Either way, let me paint you some perspectives. On my campus, I walk down the halls of my high school. Too cool to pray and too proud to pursue the vision God has called me to. I'll say I'm waiting for confirmation or some kind of sign while I sit back and watch my classmates be blind. It planks in their eyes, I'll say. I just have a little bit of sawdust in mind. Lord, this was not what I had in mind. I'm trying to be the light, but it's too dark in here to shine. I will justify and rationalize to nullify the pain of watching my closest friends die. I am the hardened-hearted Christianity. Well, me, myself, and I are doing just fine within the confines of the church property lines. We are seeing more and more come to church every single week, yet still experiencing defeat out on the city streets. 7 days without Jesus makes 1 week. That's why my favorite game to play is hide and go seek. Seeking Jesus at church, but hiding the rest of the week. And I am numb to feeling sympathy. Passion, a stranger to me. As if doing something about injustice is actually my responsibility. I'm too busy with my own calling and what God has for me than to actually do anything about the call God has placed right in front of me. I'm such a good actor. I could fool Steven Spielberg. The performance I put on at church is superb. My script is equipped with mighty adjectives but lacks the verbs. I have won the Hypocrisy Oscar Awards. See, I learned all the motions until I became a master of disguise. That I could hide from the master of disguise, that my own theories were divine. So I disconnected from the vine, telling everybody else where to find Christ, but never allowing himself to change my life. But I mean, my salvation is set in stone, right? I mean, I am a Christian by tradition, because after all, I do celebrate Christmas. These material presents are blinding me from God's presence. Now I'm bitter and restless, and my callousness has brought me to cowardliness. So in the fight to save my family, coworkers, and friends, I've become a pacifist. I'll sit in church, say I'm getting fed, while lacking the spiritual nutrients. Starved myself from fasting, so becoming well-fed was really becoming sick. Refused to partake of the bread daily, so I got anorexic. Developed a gag reflex, so I spat out the same regurgitated message and expected those around me to openly digest it. See, I have a confession. I am the victim. I long for redemption. I'm sick of saying I don't hear anything from God when really I won't listen. I'm tired of these conditions. The side effects are hard attacking me. Stealing the freedom that once pumped through these arteries. They put my heart's dreams into custody. Handcuffed my destiny to apathy. Cardiac arresting me when all I needed was arresting me. But what is the leading cause of death is heart disease. And even though these bones have been dry for the longest time, I think I can hear that still small voice calling the sleeper to rise. Because where there is death, he breathes life. He says, I will take your cold, callous heart and replace it with mine. Let me exchange your heart with its original design. So yeah, they do have planks in the rides. You know what? So do I. But Jesus was the greatest carpenter of all time. He could craft destiny out of the very lumber found in the eyes of mankind. He enabled Noah to build the ark, Solomon to build the temple, out of the very wood taken from the trees he himself rooted in the earth. He would even plant a seed that would give birth to the very tree he would hang on to show you your worth. So I refuse. I refuse to drown in the same waters he walks on. And even though it was locked, it's the door of my heart he knocks on. So if you identify with any of the hardened heart symptoms, listen. Stop buying into the world's sales pitches and slogans, because it will leave you bankrupt at the cost of your emotion. But Christ is in the business of putting frozen hearts back into motion. He's available 24/7 with arms wide open, and his unconditional redemption gives promotion to every testimony ever spoken. Because our cold, callous hearts are like God's glow sticks. To shine, they must first be broken.
So the other day I got a message on Facebook that said, "John, I love the message of your videos, but not if it's coming from you. There are choices you've made in your past that render you not qualified to spread such a message." And for me, that was hard to hear, because the hypocritical Christian is something I fear. To be put in a category like that, I could think of nothing worse. So maybe there's something I should have said first. You see, I can't and won't and don't claim to be perfect. In fact, most times I'm not even good. I'll take responsibility for the mistakes I've made and the hurts I've caused. I got more than I probably should. But would God use that against me, making good coming from my life impossible? Forgives me but refuses to use me? I don't believe in that gospel. I believe in the God of Moses. Moses was an orphan and a murderer with a stutter and a price on his head. Yet God chose this killer to be a fulfiller, performing miracles, leading his people, and making rivers flow red. I believe in the God of David. David, the shepherd boy who turned into a king, a terrible father and an adulterer from the start. Yet even with wrongdoings and iniquity, we remember him as the man after God's own heart. Mary Magdalene was a prostitute, living a life without direction. Matthew was a tax collector, the lowest of the low, yet they both walked and talked and witnessed Christ's perfection. Did God choose the Pharisees? The self-righteous and pompous, full of laws and pretension? Or did he choose cowardly Peter and persecuting Paul to spread the message of Christ's redemption? All these heroes in the Bible, not a one of them was likely. Leaning not on themselves, they leaned on God. And you know what God is? He is mighty. So can God use me, a broken, steaming mess? And can God use him or her or you? I'm here to tell you right now that the answer is yes. God can and will use anybody, even if you only go to church on Christmas. Does he only speak through the preacher? No, God is in a different business, because believing in the Lord isn't living a perfect Walgreens life, always doing right. It's letting his light shine from within and letting his word be your tutor. He'll take your broken past, helping you step into a more hopeful future, because it wasn't for perfection that Jesus died on that cross. It was for the unhealthy, so the sick could serve the sick and seek and save the lost. Because in the end, these words and these lights and these cameras and this video, it's not about me. It's about God. And with God, it's never about who you were, but about who you will be. It's God's story for the world, and we're just playing our parts. So if you're out there feeling not qualified, that's great. Because not qualified is where he starts.
You will fail at some point in your life. Accept it. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will suck at something. There's no doubt about it. And I know that's probably not a traditional message for a graduation ceremony, but hey, I'm telling you, embrace it.
because it's inevitable, and I should know. In the acting business, you fail all the time. Early on in my career, I auditioned for a part in a Broadway musical. Perfect role for me, I thought, except for the fact that I can't sing. So I'm in the wings, I'm about to go on stage, but the guy in front of me, he's singing like Pavarotti. He's just, and he's just going on and on and on, and I'm just shrinking, I'm getting smaller and smaller. So they say, oh, thank you very much, and you'll be hearing from us. So I come out with my little sheet music, and it was Just My Imagination by the Temptations. That's what I came up with. So I hand it to the accompanist, and she looks at it and looks at me and looks out at the director and was like, all right. So I start, you know, I'm gonna sing. I'm like, it's just my imagination once again, and then coming away with me. And they're not saying anything, so I'm thinking I'm getting better. So I just start getting into it. It was just my imagination. Running. This, oh yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Washington. Thank you. So I assumed I didn't get the job. But the next part of the audition, he called me back. The next part of the audition is the acting part of the audition. Now I'm like, hey, okay, maybe I can't sing, but I know I can act. So they pair me with this guy, and again, I didn't know about musical theater. And musical theater is big, so they can reach everyone all the way in the back of the stadium. And I'm more from a realistic, naturalistic kind of acting where you actually talk to the person next to you. So I don't know what my line was. My line was, well, hand me the cup. And his line was, well, I will hand you the cup, my dear. The cup will be there to be handed to you. I said, oh, okay. Well, should I give you the cup back? Oh, yes, you should give it back to me because you know that is my cup and it should be given back to me. I didn't get the job. But here's the thing. I didn't quit. I didn't fall back. I walked out of there to prepare for the next audition, and the next audition, and the next audition. I prayed. I prayed, and I prayed. But I continued to fail, and fail, and fail. But it didn't matter, because you know what? There's an old saying, you hang around the barbershop long enough, sooner or later you're going to get a haircut. So you will catch a break, and I did catch a break. Last year, I did a play called Fences on Broadway. Someone talked about it. Won the Tony Award. And I didn't have to sing, by the way. But here's the kicker. It was at the Court Theater. It was at the same theater that I failed that first audition 30 years prior. The point is, and I'll pick up the pace, the point is every graduate here today has the training and the talent to succeed. But do you have the guts to fail?